Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to speak again and present. I spoke last year at the annual conference covering the TOFA markets and wanted to, as we delve deeper into the pine chemicals at ICIS, I wanted to tell you what we do, because I don't believe we're as recognized in the pine chemical sector as we are in the petrochemical sector. Here we go. ICIS is part of Relix Group, and ICIS is the world's largest petrochemical market information provider with divisions spanning energy, fertilizers, biofuels to oleochemicals. Our aim is to give companies in global commodities markets a competitive advantage by delivering valuable information and analytics tools which enable our customers to identify and react to opportunities in markets which are constantly evolving and in many times evolving quickly. We have more than 35 years experience in providing pricing intelligence, news, forecast data, market analytics, and independent consulting to buyers, sellers, and analysts. What we provide price and market reports, and that's kind of the core of the business. Many of these provide benchmark information for over 180 commodities across the petrochemicals, oleochemicals, energy, biofuels, and fertilizers. We provide breaking news and insight into key movements and trends. We've had very robust coverage of the Chinese tariffs and how they're going to affect you and your business going forward. We forecast and have in-depth analysis that provide information for long-term product strategy planning. We also have a consultancy which has tailored consulting services that help business leaders, teams around the world understand how current and projected market conditions will impact their business. With a global staff of more than 600, ICIS has employees. We are global 24/7. We never shut down. And we have people based in London, Houston, New York, Singapore, Dubai, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Beijing, Mumbai, Tokyo, Karlsruhe, and Milan. I've been trying to get them to switch me to the Milan office with no luck so far. We have a team of journalists that are engaged in reporting market prices, movements, news. ICIS is fully committed to upholding the highest journalistic principles of verification, corroboration, authentication. And ICIS has a robust compliance network and framework in place that, along with its methodologies and business processes, adheres to requirements of the IOSCO principles. I believe we've completed that 5 years in a row successfully. What can we do for you? Purchase and trade. You can inform your day-to-day trading activities and understand price drivers with immediate access to spot and contract price assessments for over 180 commodities. Advise and support your business strategy. We can help you understand market dynamics impacting your strategies and get support, planning, and implementing new projects to drive growth. You can improve your planning and forecasting to understand short-term and long-term trends. As we delve into these markets that are many times, including the pine chemicals, opaque markets, you start to notice trends and you start to notice issues that will affect these in the medium term and into the long term. So these are things that as we get depth in the markets and expertise in the markets, they become invaluable. I've been in the oleochemical markets for 10 years, and the depth of expertise in that grows every year. You want to increase your profitability, as we all do. Make sense of the costs. I talk to sellers, buyers, distributors, traders. I can give you a midpoint. If you're buying product, you need to talk to me because I can tell you. Sometimes the price is high, and you need to look elsewhere, maybe another region. And keep up to date with the latest developments. I know every day in our morning news huddle, we talk about the implications of the Chinese trade war. And it is affecting the pine chemicals, and it will affect TOFAs as well. As I said, we have price assessments, pricing intelligence, and over 180 commodities, SBR, tires, rubbers, plastics. I'll delve into that a little bit more. We have news. Our news service is 24-hour, and it's real time. And so, and I believe we are on the cusp of having a mobile presentation as well. So you can get it as you're on the airplane or traveling to a meeting. Analytics. This has been a big push in the last few years. We're looking in depth at industry drivers and trends to give you insight to support your commercial decisions. And this is, these are based on actual data feeds and numbers. We have I'll speak in a moment about our very interesting supply and demand tracker. We've launched it through certain commodity chemicals and are now moving deeper into our coverage. But the supply and demand tracker is, I've heard it described as integral in making the medium-term decisions as businesses go forward. We have our consultancy, we have a team of industry experts around the world that carry out detailed investigations to help business leadership teams understand how current and projected market conditions are going to affect them. We also do training and conferences. ICIS has multiple conferences around the world that are regional. We also have global conferences, and they increase your knowledge of the industry. They allow you to sit down with experts in the industry, to hear experts in the industry, and to discuss with your colleagues trends that are going forward. Here we go. So on a transactional basis, and in Asia, we have a stronger spot market presence, but you can get pricing intelligence before you go walk into a negotiation. We have chemical price reports, energy reports. We have price histories of many chemicals going back 20 years. And so you can really have access to a very rich depth of data that you might need to look at your medium term and your long term going forward, and then take into account some of the changes that are facing you these days. Like I said, global real-time news, 24-hour service delivered to your desktop, in the future to your phone. We have short and midterm planning. We have numerous outlook chemical reports. We do chemical forward curves. Price histories, again, play a very deep role in the data side of this. Analysis and forecasting. We have price forecast reports, margin reports. This is for some of the larger petrochemical classes. Petrochemical analytics solutions. We have an LNG solution, training and conferences. Then your long-term planning, a lot of that is looking at your supply-demand database. Our consulting. We also do scenario studies. Just to touch on the IOSCO and our robust methodologies, it's important when collecting price data that it is done in a very transparent and fair manner, and that there is nothing hidden and on the side. And as I said before, we are the leading benchmark prices for a broad range of commodities in the markets around the world. And we do a very, very strict compliance. I can tell you that. I have to live and breathe it every day. Sorry about that. And we are assessed constantly and have every piece of data that we bring in double-checked to make sure that it is received and analyzed in a secure and correct manner. Some of the chemicals that we cover very deeply. We're in the aromatics, olefins, polymers, solvents, oxo alcohols, base oils. On the surfactant side, we do a lot of fatty alcohols, fatty acids, biofuels. On the energy side, we have a very strong energy coverage, natural gas, power, LNG, and this is globally. So energy markets in Europe, also in Mexico. We just launched a Mexico energy markets report. Fertilizers, a wide coverage of fertilizers as well. This further breaks down some of the coverage that we have. Looking at, let me see, where am I? I think I'm over here in the oleochemical side. And as I mentioned, as we dig deeper into the pine chemicals, there might possibly be a pine chemicals heading there with some of the price quotes and some of the data that we will be covering in the pine chemicals industry. Delivery platforms. Right now we're online. We have mobile access to data. We have an ICIS dashboard. We also do market alerts. We have emails coming out in PDF form. You can print out your reports in a PDF form. We have an Excel plugin with API functionalities. And as I mentioned before, we're going to be moving more towards the mobile delivery as we go forward. These are really interesting developments that we have focused on in recent years. If you look at the live supply demand disruption tracker, this first one, this is a very useful, powerful piece of, it's not equipment, but a program. If you are looking at having 30% of US crude capacity shut down because of all the platforms in the US Gulf are going down because of a hurricane, we can tell you where that is happening and how that's going to affect ethane, ethylene, propylene as we go down the derivatives, as we refine it and go downstream. So we can tell you outages of ethylene that are coming up, that are current. This is, again, 24 hours a day. It's updated all the time. We have our price drivers and analytics. This gives you clarity into looking at where to source something, where to export something, where is the arbitrage, what is the currency looking like. So this will increase your knowledge of local and international arbitrage opportunities. It'll give you and let you manage and let you be powerful in your trading and negotiations. And then we have our supply-demand outlooks. And these support and optimize our quarterly forecasts. They expand your opportunities in international trade. If you're looking at trends, some of these trends are slower to come to fruition. So if you're looking at something in the short term, if you're looking at something spot right now, if it's coming from Asia, it's going to be 6 weeks on the water. What is that going to look like when it hits a port? This one is very useful. As I mentioned before, you can spot opportunities in real time. You can competitively position yourself, be able to capitalize on arbitrage, be able to capitalize on a disruption. Negotiate better, get better prices, charge more, pay less. You get access to a global view of planned and unplanned plant shutdowns and expected new capacities within 12 months. So you get a 12-month window. Real-time updates with precise calculations on the supply loss impact in line with ICIS production news. Information which is powered by data, which is from the supply and demand database, which is kept up 24 hours a day, input, and if something comes back up online, we have to get into the database and update it, and so you will know that the capacity is back up. There we go. Just make sure I'm on the right one here. Right here, this lets you gain new context and negotiating tools with your assessments. You reduce the time spent making manual calculations. This is the supply-demand tracker right here. And this, again, is updated online, and it is 24 hours a day, updated all the time. You can do further analysis in line with ICIS price assessments from our market reports. You can set your predefined workspaces available for each region per commodity. As we go into 2019, more and more of our chemicals will be included with the supply-demand tracker and the plant disruptions. Right here, if you want to look at your short-term strategy with upstream and downstream market sentiment and expectations, this report here comes out, and it gives you a very clear what is the trend in the market, okay? Right now, we have aromatics and derivatives, butadiene and derivatives, ethylene and derivatives, methanol, propylene and derivatives, base oils, and fertilizers. No oleochemicals yet, but I'm sure it's on the horizon. And pine chemicals probably shortly after. Thank you, and thank you for your time. If you want to talk with me about TOFA or CTO or CST or GTO, China, please come talk to me. Thank you.